Phil Fletcher knew about me before I knew about him and his work. He and possibly two others are the only people that remember my first ever TV appearance in 1993, and it made me laugh that he remembered it at all, and in detail. Phil was a first-class puppeteer, puppet creator, natural improviser, voiceover artist, performer, and I have found out more about him that I never even knew, such working closely with the legend and timply comic Frank Sidebottom. I too have met Frank, but in the shape of a bronze statue when on tour a few years ago. Phil tells of his puppet heroes and comedy heroes, and inspirations in puppetry, and characters such as Orville the Duck and Emu. We talk of Keith Harris and Peter Pullen, and Phil is proud to talk about another talent of his in the form of the Pound Shop Boys, which is a parody-type duo singing electric pop songs from classics that we all know and love. You can find this work on Nostalgia by the Pound Shop Boys on Bandcamp. There's also talk of Wurzel Gummidge and other TV shows we grew up loving. Phil and I collaborated together on a TV ident/advert for Britain's Got Talent, and in that 30 seconds, that took 2 hours to film, but we laughed throughout the filming. Phil was the only person to have puppeteered my Arthur Lager apart from myself. You can see Phil in his absolutely brilliant performance on CBBC with his right-hand best friend in Hacker T-Dog, and they both join me today on Eyes and Teeth.
Hello.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm ruddy, lovely. How are you, cocker?
I'm great. Isn't it amazing how Wigan and Eastbourne can connect like this, isn't it?
Madness. It's a clear line.
There's no traffic in between. It's brilliant.
It's lovely, this.
Phil Fletcher, writer, puppeteer, puppet builder, voice actor, body actor. You probably act with your body as well. And it's from Wigan. I don't know what else I could say. Tell me about Wigan.
Hello, Steve. Have you ever been to Wigan?
I have been to Wigan, and I believe there's a statue there of yourself, or there should be, or have they ripped it down recently? I'm not sure.
It's a statue of me, but it looks a little bit like George Formby.
That's the one. Thank you for filling in the name that always escapes me. But yeah, no, I had my picture taken with you. Or it does look a bit like George Formby, actually.
I did complain, but they've not changed it yet.
Yeah, your puppet looks like a ukulele.
Yeah, and I had a hat on, and I never wore a hat.
It's strange, isn't it? And you're not as tall as I remember either, actually. Yeah,
further away from you.
Yeah, no, I remember walking through the Wigan town, and I did stop in Wigan purposely to get a photo with yourself, stroke George Formby. But when I did it, the security, I kind of looked like a dodgy person walking through the town. You know, like Rambo, through Rambo in First Blood, when the police stop him as if to say, can you get out of our town? I felt like that when I was walking through the shopping centre looking for the statue. But the security guard actually turned out to be a mate of mine because he took the photo for me and everything, and then I told him what I did for a living, and then he
threw you out.
Well, he did. He threw me out then. But it was a nice moment.
It's lovely. I don't go to Wigan very often if I can help it, really.
So, me too. Well, there's a pier there. It's not a pier like Cromer. You can't appear on the pier, can you?
You wouldn't get a booking in Wigan. Well, not now. They pulled it down. It was a nightclub.
Oh, okay. It was a venue.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. But it was never a theatre, was it? Did it used to be?
It might have been back in the day.
But
when I used to go, it was a nightclub. I used to go on a Wednesday night, indie night, when they were playing pulp and stuff like that, and I'd be wearing a lime green velvet suit.
Oh, wow, have you still got that?
No, I let it go recently.
Are you wearing it now?
Just the trousers.
Oh, brilliant. It was just lime green. I instantly think of Orville. Now, you build puppets, don't you? And
I do.
You actually build incredible puppets. Now they're not even replicas. They are like the real thing. They're incredible. So you're I'm writing a book on called Ventriloquist, and I'm doing.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I've told everyone. I'm doing a piece on like collectors, but you're not a collector. You build the puppets that you want. When did that?
Collect as well, but if you can't get them,
oh, you do.
You make them, don't you?
Okay. Oh, you have been to a few auctions, haven't you? So
yeah.
It's in the picture of you with your Orville and Keith Orville. So
that's right.
That's incredible. And you sent me some lovely pictures of Keith the last time you saw him work.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
You took some great pictures. What did Keith mean to you, Phil?
I was a big fan since being a kid. He was one of my biggest influences, actually.
Me too.
Because of his characters were so strong. I've always said it. I always cite him as having the best characters. That's why you only need two if you've got good ones.
Yes.
I know we had loads of others, but Orville and Cuddles were so great and so different from each other. It's all you need. Some people oversaturate their act, I think, with too many characters.
Too many characters, yeah, I do. I do. I think I'm starting to tone down. I think Arthur Lager is probably a stayer, and I think Pongo is a stayer. Yeah,
it's good when you can get a character that can sustain a good half a show. Well, like Keith and Orville, he did half with Orville and half with Cuddles when I used to see him.
Yes, and did you know that he started with Cuddles? Orville came later, didn't he? You obviously know the history.
I was a big fan of the original Cuddles design.
Oh, okay.
It looked great. The face was great. Angry eyebrows. They changed him quite a bit, didn't they? But
they did.
The original one was great.
Yeah, no, Peter Pullen was a creator. He creates a lot of mine now, but Peter Pullen made all those characters. Didn't you know he used about 80 characters on the Keith Harris TV show back in the 80s?
Yeah. But I remember there was a dog, wasn't there? A big suit.
Yes, that big dog.
Which had a dog. I think that was cradling a smaller dog from memory, was it?
Yeah, the big dog was like a bodyguard to a really like a little mafia-style dog, didn't it? And he had a little cigar or something.
It was brilliant. He had loads, yeah. And I remember Pongo being on that.
Pongo the skunk, the original. Yeah. And Vinny the vulture, which Keith passed to me as well. And you've got a picture of you with Vinny, haven't you?
I did. I was really happy to see that. I'm a big fan of Peter Pullen's work. In fact, most of the things I was a big fan of in the 80s, it turns out to have more or less all been Peter's stuff.
Monster Munch puppets, Honey Monster,
Emu.
No,
you can always tell them actually. They always have a signature eyes.
Yes.
You can always tell a Peter Pullen.
A few of mine have that. I mean, Vinny the Vulture's got Orville's eyes, really, or Cuddles' eyes, and they're. I've got a few like that. Pongo. I mean, the third and final Pongo that I have now, he's got those eyes that are very special. They're on a weight. Do you do moving eyes on your puppets? Not yourself.
Mine don't move that much. No, I've not done them. I've done a few eyebrows and things, but I don't really bother with them in my sort of puppets. They don't really work well. They're nice in vent dummies because they're independent, aren't they? Your hand isn't in the way in the head.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm a huge fan of, and I saw something on Disney Plus the other day with props in Hollywood. Have you seen this? And it's there's a lovely one on the Muppets and the little banjo. I was singing that in the car last night. Actually, Rainbow Connection.
It's great. It's on my album. I did a version of it on the Pound Shop Boys album.
Oh, is it really? Oh, fantastic! I'll have to look that up and plug it. I love that.
I'll send you it. It's great.
It's just such a beautiful song. Actually, I think I might stick it in this year with Pongo if I ever go back to work. But it's just it's got a lovely touch to it, hasn't it? That song.
It's a great song. Yeah, it was nominated for an Emmy. Didn't win, sadly.
Ah.
But it was nominated at the time.
Hackety Dog, you've worked Sooty, you've worked on the Keith and Paddy Picture Show with Gordon the Gopher, but we met...
Done loads of old has-been characters.
all the wannabe ones as well. They're all in your attic. We met on the set though, didn't we? Was this the first time we met on the set of the Britain's Got Talent Ident in Manchester?
Right. It was great, that. We had a fun day, didn't we?
That was such a brilliant time. You had me in stitches, and I think we were getting told off, but not verbally. I mean, it was just in the director's eyes.
You could see it in the eyes.
Yeah, but even though they were behind the camera, we could feel them saying, "These two guys, they just won't stop laughing." You did have me in stitches. Now you were working Arthur Lager for me, and on that very clever advert that they had.
It was really good, yeah, because I wasn't wearing what you would consider to be a subtle shirt, so I don't know how they painted me out. It's quite impressive.
I don't know. There wasn't even a green screen behind us, was there?
There wasn't. I was just lying on the floor.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it.
For about 2 hours, you were lying on the floor.
It was funny though.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, the ad libs and stuff between Arthur and your hand.
The trademark, you ain't wearing that, are you, catchphrase.
Well, that's what we say every time we see each other. You ain't wearing that. How did that come about? Was that in the advert? Oh, it was, wasn't it? Of course it was.
In the advert, yeah, but on the day, of course, I had to say the line 1,000,000 times. Then you dubbed it, didn't you, for the finish thing? Yes. So I was, you ain't wearing that, oh yeah.
You actually, you were funnier with Arthur than I've ever been, actually, and it was quite frustrating. Well, no,
again, another great Peter puppet. It was nice to have a go at another Peter Pullen puppet.
Yeah. I mean, he's just mouth movement as well, that Arthur, so there's no eyes or anything.
It's all you need.
It is, with something with amazing eyes like Arthur's got. You can bring him to life.
People who are starting in the game, certainly I get a lot of people requesting puppets when they're getting started out, and they say, "Oh, can it have eye blinks, eye left to right, and all this?"
Yeah.
You don't need it really.
No.
The most famous puppets on the planet do not have that. Kermit the Frog is just a ping pong ball and a bit of cloth. It's the performance. Yeah. You don't need anything else.
And he's got 50 years out of him, so it clearly doesn't need moving eyes, does it?
You don't need it. No, I think it holds you back sometimes because you have to concentrate on. The counterbalance ones are nice. All of those are good because they just glide left to right on the weight. But if you have to physically manipulate them, you have too much to think about.
Yeah, that's true. For me, the Muppets are a huge inspiration then. So are they? What do they mean to you, the Muppets?
They mean everything to me, but I was a big fan. But equally, if not, the thing that I was obsessed with as a kid was Keith and Orville and Rod and Emu and that sort of thing. I was a big fan of the British stuff. They were so good. I mean, Rod Hull, as I've said in countless interviews, and I'll say it again in this one, is the most underrated puppeteer I've ever seen. He was the best.
Wasn't he just brilliant?
He's never lauded.
No.
He's never lauded like the others are. But if you watch any of his stuff, you believe that emu is a separate entity to him.
How simple is that? Just the hand puppet? I mean, not simple to puppeteer the way Rod did, but how simple is it to bring that puppet to life? And again, just a moving mouth.
The puppet itself is very simple because I've got a real one. And I've made them over the years. Basically, as Peter will tell you, the body is just basically a cushion that's attached to a false arm under the jacket. Now, the only element of it that is a puppet is actually the head and the neck. So it's just a snake puppet, effectively, that sticks to a cushion. Imagine that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I've got a huge poster in my room, and I'm just looking at it, and it's. I think what brings it to life is the movement of all of the. They're not feathers; they're just plastic strings, aren't they?
It's like raffia, plastic string. But it is a brilliant design.
It's
so
fantastic.
Simple. It's basically a snake puppet on a cushion with string stuck to it. If you write that down, there's nothing to it. And a lot of people, it's down to the performer because Toby Hull and other people just can't do it in the same way Rob did it. You believe that thing was a separate being to him.
You did. I mean, what he did with it on Royal Variety shows and even in America, he was huge. He was on the Johnny Carson show with it, wasn't he?
And Bruce, what's his name? Oh God, Smoking the Bandit bloke. I've forgotten his name.
Burt Reynolds.
It was on Burt Reynolds' show when Burt was massive in the early 80s.
Yeah.
If you watch Rod and Emu on YouTube or anything, just watch them and watch Rod Hull. He doesn't look at Emu when Emu's doing stuff. It's as if do you know what I'm saying? Is you watch the puppet to make sure it's doing what you want it to do.
Yeah, definitely.
He didn't do that. It was so detached from it. It was the best. Believe that thing was alive.
Yeah, so good with it. Was Rod the first to have one of those fake arms on the puppets?
I think it was. Yeah, certainly the first on telly. There's not been that many of that, really. I know.
Terry Hall Lenny the Lion had he actually put his arm in the puppet. But,
yes, this puppet had the arm.
Yeah, but he didn't have a fake one behind it, did he?
No, he didn't. That was a weird design. Interesting design.
It was strange. Yeah.
Terry had no hands left.
No, he didn't have any hands, did he? He never
to do anything. So Lenny had to do all the turning of the pages and stuff. Terry didn't have a hand. It was odd design, that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I've held the original Lenny. I visited Terry's house after he passed away, and with permission of his wife. And she I didn't just break in. Dee Hall, she actually got Lenny out for me, and this hadn't happened. She'd never done this before for anyone, so it was quite emotional for her.
Oh, it's lovely. It should be on display. It's a lovely puppet.
It's wonderful, but very difficult to manipulate and to pick up and try and find out where your right hand goes and where you twist Lenny's body around your body and try and get the left hand as well.
Because he was right. I don't know if Terry was right-handed, but he was performing the puppet's head with his left.
Really?
It's weird to do if you're not right-handed.
Yes, that's what I mean with using both hands. It was really complex, actually. I don't know how he worked that out, but I mean, he worked it brilliantly. You know, he was a huge success.
Yeah. Well, he was the first, wasn't he, to use a puppet, an animal. There wasn't just a little boy.
In the UK, yes. In the UK he was, but I do believe there's a ventriloquist in France that used a duck. It was like a Donald Duck puppet, and the name will come to me. I'm.
Was it literally a Donald Duck?
It was, yes.
Was it a Donald Duck merchandise and he hollowed it out or something?
Is it Robert Lamouret? Wonderful ventriloquist. There's a great. I'll send you the clip later. It's a brilliant clip of him, and it is a Donald Duck.
That he used one of those Bendham's Donald Duck rubber puppet toys and hollowed it out. I think that is the case.
Yeah, it was such a fast character. It really manipulated this. I mean, this is a great routine of the puppet actually shaving him on stage.
Was he? I can't remember it. Would you consider him to be a good technical ventriloquist?
Yes, it was. It was brilliant. I was in Switzerland interviewing a ventriloquist called Fred Roby, and he showed me the clip of Robert Lamouret on. He had him on a DVD, and it was just the most beautiful piece of vent I've seen. But the puppeteering of the whole situation was. He would like shave Robert on stage, so he'd put like fake, shaving cream all over his face, and then the duck would have the razor in his beak, and he would shave him, but he'd do it while he's singing, an Italian aria. It was incredible. It's
a risk, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge risk. Yeah, bleeding by the end of the act, but for your art, you do that.
Yeah, we've all done it. But yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I mean, I don't do ventriloquism myself. I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of a lot of them, and I do have I keep a keen eye on it.
Yeah, you've been very supportive to me. I appreciate that. You've been to see a few of my shows. You've been in.
I think you're great.
Been in one of my shows.
I've been a fan of yours since you were on Pig Attraction.
I'm only laughing because that was my first TV in 1993, and when you mentioned that before that you were a fan of Pig Attraction, and I watched some the other day with Simon Buckley. Well, I didn't watch it with him. I was on my own, but he's on it, isn't he? And he's presented. It's such a great show, but I think it was only one series, wasn't it?
It was one. I mean, it's very niche.
Yes.
To me, that's the sort of show that when I heard about it, or when it was on, I thought, hold on a minute, they've made this show just for me.
yes.
No one else is going to enjoy this.
Yeah, I remember getting the call, and I was out. I was at school, and I came back, and my mum said, "Oh, you've had a phone call from a TV show, and you might be on TV with Ron Lucas and Keith Harris." And I called them straight back. It was HTV Wales.
That's right,
and, yeah. And they said, can you come to HTV next week? And I had to have some time off school. And can you film? We're doing a show. Keith Harris is going to be there and Ray Allen's going to be there. And I said, is Ron Lucas not on it? And they went, we couldn't get his visa. So, but it was Ray Allen and Keith Harris. And they wanted a young up-and-coming ventriloquist to be on the show. And I went there. I spent the whole day with Keith on the set, and Ray Allen sadly filmed his a few weeks before.
He was in a theatre, wasn't he? He was in a VT with Lord Charles and the cat Alley Cat.
And Alley Cat, yeah. And I didn't know he had another character, but I obviously know now.
He used to be on telly on Channel 4. He had a show in the 80s on Channel 4.
Yeah, he had a lot of TV shows and Titch and Crackers and.
Oh, this was years after that.
Yes.
I think it was like a show where they showed cartoons and they did the links between them. I think it was that.
That's the one. I remember the cartoon one. It was.
Well, that had Alley Cat on it.
Yeah, and he used Alley Cat and on Pig Attraction.
On the thing that you were on.
Yes.
They'd redressed it for some reason. It had a weird sort of jumper on, I think. But when he used to be on, he had a suit on and a fez. That was a lovely puppet, Alley Cat. It looked like Lord Charles dressed as a cat.
It did, didn't it? Lord Charles at a fancy dress party. Yes.
But it had all the Sylvester the cat cheeks, big fluffy cheeks on, didn't it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I imagine Lord Charles is one of those to dress up and goes to those posh parties with masks on. You can imagine him doing that.
Another great character.
Oh, conversational.
Did TV start for you in 2010 on Scoop? Is that where Hacker was born, or do you have a funnier story?
A little bit. My first TV appearance was on a show called Talk TV, which was a Manchester-based chat show on local cable television, which was seen by less people than saw Pig Attraction.
Oh.
Okay. That was in 1994, which wasn't actually not dissimilar to when you did Pig Attraction.
It's a year later, yeah.
And that was with Lab Rat. He was one of the characters I used in Cabaret for 20 odd years.
Oh wow!
They saw me. Prior to that, I'd worked at a Henson exhibition in Warrington on the creature shop section when I was 17, just demonstrating puppets. And this TV company came and did a VT there. Then they asked me to go in and do this. So I did a couple of shows with them. And then TV more or less ended. I didn't do anything else for years on telly. I was doing cabaret full time, touring, doing all the holiday camps. I did Chroma Pier back then.
Did you really? Did you do a season?
No, a one-off show.
Chroma Pier.
I used to tour and do afternoon matinees and stuff.
Oh, fantastic. Did you do that Rod Hull spoof that you do now? Did you do that then, or is that a new thing that you do? I love that.
Rex and Billy.
Oh, Rex and Billy, yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I think that the theory with Rex and Billy is Rex is frightened of his own arms, so he puts the puppet on so it doesn't seem as insane. That's the plan with them.
It's brilliant. Ventriloquist versus the puppeteers. So, obviously, I love being up there because I like getting the laughter and things, and you get so much laughter. But do you choose to be behind the scenes as a puppeteer, or would you have wanted to be a ventriloquist? What was your goals?
My plan was to be a puppeteer. When I was a little kid, I wanted to be a puppeteer. When they asked me at school when I was about 5, what do you want to be? And the kids were saying astronaut, footballer, I said puppeteer. Yeah. I've always wanted to do it.
Brilliant.
I started doing puppet shows for money when I was 11. I would do kids' birthday parties for kids who weren't much younger than I was doing them.
Yeah. I think I was 13.
I've been doing it for money since I was 11. 33 years, yeah.
Oh, me too. 33 years now. That's it.
It's quite crazy, isn't it? 88 I started.
Oh, yeah, 87 me with Jimmy Tamley, but that was in November. It was very close to 88. So we've been going the same time with Hands Up things. That's incredible.
We're doing all right now. We're doing well for ourselves, aren't we?
We're doing all right. We're having fun, aren't we? But you know, I just go back to, you mentioned the creature shop. Now, I wrote to the Henson Associates and I tried to get, to meet them I sent a poster actually of the Muppets. I never got it back.
They like that. They won't give you stuff back.
No, they didn't. I think they liked the poster so much. But they invited me to the creature shop, and I'm very embarrassed to say I don't remember the name of the puppeteer or the guy who worked there. But he invited me up and showed me all round.
It would have been John Stevenson.
John Stevenson. I recognise the surname. Yes.
Yeah, well, he was the manager of it at the time.
Okay, well, I must have the letter still somewhere because I kept them all. And when I went there, they were showing me around. They were building the dinosaurs at the time.
That's right, yeah.
Which is coming back soon, I believe, on the Disney Plus.
Oh, they're showing it. Yeah, they're not bringing it back.
Yeah, they're re-showing it, which would be great for my kids because I mean you can't get it on DVD or it's not on really YouTube or anything. So
it's very good. It was ahead of its time. That
it was great. And it was like El Dorado, wasn't it?
Years old.
It was a shame that they shelved it, really, but it was so good.
It was very expensive. They couldn't pilot it.
Oh, okay.
They had to make it and risk it. They couldn't do a pilot.
Yeah, I guess it was made for me and you. Really,
exactly, most things were.
Not enough viewers.
Yeah, but it was very good. It was underrated. It was funny. It was like Roseanne.
Yeah, yes.
It was a puppet version of Roseanne, really.
No, it was. It was. Yeah, it does because the dad dinosaur Earl is
very
it?
Very funny Earl. Yeah, great
he's I met the puppeteer. Is it John Henson that done Earl? I think.
No. It was performed. The guy in the suit was Bill Barretta.
Okay.
I don't know who the voice guy was, that's a separate entity, but it was performed by Mac Wilson. I did the animatronics for the head.
Oh, that was brilliant.
I've subsequently worked with a few times on different things.
I remember seeing him up on the plimp at the creature shop, actually. They were building
Mac.
The big dinosaur.
Not the puppet.
Yeah, not the man. The Museum of Moving Image, it came to the South Bank. Did you see that when the Muppets were there? And
no, because back then, you see, as you know, I'm from Wigan.
Did you never leave Wigan until a certain age?
There was no way out of here in the 80s and early 90s. So I never even went to London until I was in my late 20s.
That's sad you missed that.
I saw the Muppets or whatever when they came up here. So this is interesting, they came to an exhibition in Bradford in 1990 that opened the week after Jim died. And I went to that.
Yes.
And then in 1994, the same exhibition came to Warrington, and that's where I was working. I went along one day and was sort of asking them questions about this, that, and the other, and they were giving me a load of nonsense facts. And I was saying, no, that isn't that. That is X, Y, Z. And then they took me on, and I worked there for about 3 months on the creature shop section, demonstrating the bits and bats to the kids, and that's where I did the first television thing I did.
Oh, brilliant.
And that was that was 94, that was 26 years ago.
Well, that's crazy. We're talking about those numbers, isn't it? How many? Yeah. 25 20s and 30s years ago.
And subsequently, so I never really, apart from that, which wasn't really working for the Muppets, I never worked for the Muppets ever again up until the last few years where I've done a few bits and bats with Henson and Disney and the Muppets.
Yes, brilliant.
I worked on the new Dark Crystal.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did a few days on Dark Crystal for Netflix. I worked with Miss Piggy at the Royal Albert Hall a couple of years ago. I assisted Eric.
Oh, amazing. Is Eric the new Miss Piggy, is he?
He's new, yeah. He's been doing it since 2000.
Oh, okay. 20 years, yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, but he's the new guy. 20 years is the new... It's mad, isn't it? No time.
It is, isn't it? Like Steve Whitmere. I mean, 1991, 1990 we lost Jim, so Steve took over in... That was 30 years ago, and obviously he's not there now, but...
Yeah,
wow.
He left in 2016, so he did come for 26 years.
Ah, it's incredible. Brilliant. And I did go to the memorial of Jim, actually. It was the most incredible afternoon.
Yeah.
It was, and I didn't see a service like that until Ken Dodd's. I mean, it was literally a cathedral full up with mourners.
Yeah, well, there were national
worshippers.
Weren't they? You expect that, don't you? Massive influences in this business they're in.
You know, they deserved it. It was just people worshipping them, and the careers they both had. You know, Ken Dodd and Dickie Mint and Jim Henson and Kermit. It was just incredible. Ice and Teeth. You build these incredible characters, but the photos I've seen, it's just your attic is just full of colour. It's beautiful. I mean, the colours. I understand why you're smiling most of the time and happy because
that's a drink.
The colours of the drinks.
Yeah, Blue Wickets.
Yeah. What is within the puppet workshop about? Can you tell us a bit about your workshop you do?
Yes, I was just bored. So I thought I'd make a series of online, and I'm going to do air quotes, tutorial videos.
Okay, brilliant.
But you don't, in reality, if you watch them, I don't really tell you how to do anything because I'm going to do myself out of work if I do that.
No, of course. I'm going to do some vent lessons, but not teach anything. But
yeah, if you watch them closely, you think, hold on a minute, he's not taught me anything there.
They are brilliant. I mean, it's a great insight to your work, but...
I'm just doing it light-hearted and being daft and using it as an excuse to promote the Pound Shop Boys.
But it's brilliant. I showed a clip to Nina the other day when you just showed around the workshop, and I said, Phil has made all of these characters, and you said, I think there's a little quote saying you will recognise a few of these, and you recognise at least half of the characters, because you've built... the Muppets are in there, and Sprocket the dog. Did I see Sprocket? There's a sort
of one that looks like Sprocket.
Oh, okay, Frankle Rock.
Puppets I make replicas of just because you can't get them elsewhere. Obviously, I don't sell replicas. I'll make money from them because it's terribly illegal. But for the Frank Sidebottom head, I think you were going to say them, weren't you?
We actually saw the in the mirror. We saw you at the end, and I laughed out loud because I was watching the tribute the other night. You know, the 10 years. Of his passing, of Chris's passing, and what a character he is as well. Brilliant. Was you a big fan of Frank Sidebottom?
I was a big fan of his since the 80s. I remember him in a kid's comic called Oink.
Yeah.
He used to do a page, and that's where I first became aware of him. And then he did countless years of Saturday morning telly. He was on Number 73. He was on What's Up Doc. He was on all those Saturday morning shows for years.
Yeah, I must have seen him on 73 with Sandy Toksvig. Yeah.
Yeah, it was brilliant. And I was a big fan of Frank. And I eventually met him in 2005 at one of his gigs. He did a gig in Wigan at Goose Green Labour Club. And I went and met him there. So I met Frank a couple of times before I met Chris. Anyway, I got... Chris found out that I did loads of photographs. I'm a bit of an amateur photographer and a fan, as you can see from the puppet photos. I do all my own photographs and everything.
Okay.
And he got me to do some photographs for him of Frank for his Timperley tour postcards. So I went to his house, and that was the first day I met Chris.
Okay.
He answered the door. He had the suit on and the pink tie on, but he hadn't got the head on yet. And then I drove him round Timperley in my car. We kept jumping out near the chip shop or whatever, and near the Stonemason's Arms, and I did all the photographs for his Timperley tour postcards that he used to sell. And then I worked with him then quite a lot for the next 5 years.
Oh, brilliant.
We did loads of local telly, loads of radio. I used to help him, I used to drive him to gigs, I used to do his merchandise stall and what have you. So I worked with him then until he died. And then actually, just before he died, I got the Hacker gig.
Really? So that was the transition, really, from Frank to Hacker. Wow.
Yeah, and if you watch Hacker, you can tell that there's the Frank Sidebomb influence in him.
Oh, that's nice to know. Now, when I watch Hacker next, I'll be looking out for that. He was brilliant.
You hear it, it's the stream of consciousness talking. When Hacker starts talking, he will fill the airtime with sound, and that is from Frank, because Frank used to do that because when he was on stage, Chris could not hear anything else, or he couldn't see anything.
Okay, so keep talking.
So if you watch a Frank Sidebottom gig, Frank doesn't really engage with the audience because he couldn't see them or he couldn't hear them. So he had to just fill the time. So if you watch one, it's just Frank talking.
Really?
Filling the time. No dead space, no dead air. Dead air is a crime, Steve. You know that.
Well, I do know that. I try not to be a victim of it.
Show business. And the Hacker ethos is filled that time, and that is from Chris.
Yeah, I mean, you fill it with a lot of ad-libs, don't you? Your ad-libbing skills as a comedian is second to none. Where did you hone the skills of your impromptu hilarity?
Cabaret. You do the Pontons and the holiday camps and the Butlins. You don't know what the hell your audience is going to be like.
No, it's a risk.
And I used to do the early evening slots often at Butlins and Pontons and Haven and all those. I used to do John Fowler, Cabaret, Park Resorts. I've done them all.
Okay.
And I used to be on early evening before the sort of bingo or whatever.
Yeah.
So you punters, although it was a kids show primarily, the audiences were 50% adults, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
So you can't just go in and do your little namby-pamby kids show. You've got to do something for 50% of those audience are adults, and they've paid the money. Yeah,
you've got to reach over their heads, haven't you?
The kids haven't paid you, so you've got to amuse the adults if you want to get a repeat booking, haven't you?
Yeah, yes. You want to come back.
Bread and butter is a repeat bookings, isn't it, in showbiz?
Definitely. Yeah, still waiting. Been sat here 4 months waiting for that rebooking.
When it comes, though, it'll be a good one. I used to love doing Butlins.
Yeah, brilliant. Now, have you been recently? Because they put so much into it. No. Oh, they're fantastic. They really look after you. Was that Hacker?
Yeah, woof, get out. That's my real dog being noisy.
I love the replicas that you've made of your two dogs.
I might kill the real
Credible.
ones and keep the replicas.
or you just, there is this thing called taxidermy. You could just, it'd be easier.
That's what you do, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit of vent. Yeah, I've got my nan actually in the kitchen. So
she's not dead.
No, she is. So your success with Hacker is phenomenal. Where do you want to take him next? What's his goals?
I have no idea.
No.
You have to ask him. I haven't got any plans. I haven't got any aspirations. No, I'm not particularly. Even the word I've forgotten? What's the word when you want to do stuff? Ambitious.
Oh, ambitious. Okay, you're not ambitious. I mean, what you're doing is the success. What you are doing now it's working. So why do you need anything bigger? Yeah.
I didn't aspire to it.
No.
I never aspired to do telly or anything. I never aspired to be a name. All I wanted to be was a puppeteer. And then when I started earning money doing puppet shows, as far as I was concerned, I'd achieved my goal then. So anything else then I was just happy to tread water until I died, just doing what I do. Success of Hacker, actually, as great as it is, was never sought out. I never aspired for it. So therefore, with that sort of mindset, you're never a failure, actually.
That's true. Yeah, I'm going to have to take that on board, I think.
Yeah, it's a good way to live. I've never had aspirations, and the amount of calls I get off people offering me stuff, and the amount of things I turn down because it would interfere with me watching Only Fools and Horses or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Life is.
You're happy with it?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So you're winning at life. So.
That's wonderful. Do you have admiration for other puppeteers?
I love them. Yeah, I love a lot of people. Big fan. I admire the people who are some hard-working puppeteers, some very ambitious puppeteers, which is good, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
But what you were saying earlier about ventriloquism versus puppetry, it's a different. They're not mutually exclusive. People often ask me, what do you prefer, ventriloquism or puppetry? And that isn't a question, is it? No,
it's not. Not for you, because you're not.
Ventriloquists and puppeteers.
Well, they always mix Rod Hull with that, didn't they? And Bob Cowgies, they mixed them up to be Did you ever see? Because I touched on this in my book, the "You're Not a Ventriloquist" section, and it's I'm not telling them they're not. They've actually said that they're not. But the press always goes out there and say they are ventriloquists. But there's a guy called Trevor James on the Raw Variety Show. Did you ever see that thing he did with the parrot?
Yes, it's a brilliant act.
It's funny, isn't it? I mean, it's a comedy act. It's not a puppeteer act. It's a comedy act with a puppet, but it worked. Yeah. It was so funny.
That's all that matters to me.
Yeah, comedy, the visual.
But the ventriloquism is a puppetry, as you know. The puppetry element is a vessel to use your ventriloquism. Without a puppet, I don't know what a ventriloquist would do.
Yes, that's true. There's a guy called Mark Felgate who does demonstrate that very well.
He used to be on Nickelodeon, didn't he?
Oh, yes, of course he did. Yeah. You know.
I don't know him. I've worked with a lot of people who used to work with Mark, subsequently worked with me at CBBC, producers and writers for him and stuff.
Do you do hand exercises or vocal exercises before you work, or is this...
Never.
Nothing?
I've never done any training, nor have I done any exercise, nor have I put any superfluous effort into what I do, ever.
That's amazing. It's just natural, then.
It's an utter fluke.
It's fantastic. I've got one more question here. We'll talk about being behind the scenes of Hacker and stuff. I mean, the Pound Shop Boys. Tell me more about the Pound Shop Boys, because you very kindly performed twice for me on the Keith Harris tribute a couple of years ago.
It was fantastic.
It was a great night, and you had me in stitches. And inside, I couldn't laugh too much because I was hosting, but there was I did laugh, but I was worried about the time because there was 50 acts on it. But I'm glad I put you on early. So this was, so you done Hacker. Hacker was beautiful on the night, and then you done Pound Shop Boys, and sadly we had to cut one of your tracks. But it was, what is Pound Shop Boys? It's brilliant because it is its own thing, isn't it?
Yeah, we're not doing it as a spoof, and it's not.
No, it's not
a parody. It's a parody more than a tribute.
Yeah,
I'm a massive Pet Shop Boys fan, and so is my mate John.
Okay, yeah, I met John. John's a great guy.
Very talented as well, which is good. I always try and align myself with people who are talented.
Yes.
And that's actually a bit of advice. Should you want it, align yourself with people who are talented.
Okay.
And you can take advantage of.
I'm doing that now.
Yes.
Again.
It works. It's what I've done.
Okay, brilliant.
So me and John, and we get on really well, and we got karaoke, what have you. Anyway, we started. He's a recording artist. You may remember in the 90s a song called "The Hamster Dance." Do you remember that?
Hamster Dance, I do, yeah.
Ding dong ding do do dee dum dim.
Yeah.
Like the Cuban Boys. Well, that was John. That was John's band.
Okay.
He was on top of the pops with that in 1999. It was number 4 in the charts. It sold 1 million copies.
It's one of those earworms, isn't it? Like 2 Meter Peter. It's an earworm.
Exactly.
It gets in there.
Yeah, it's dreadful. Like 2 Meter Peter, which I like. But then my favourite song's Cotton Eye Joe, so who am I to do? So we did that. So basically we got chatting and we got off and we became mates. And then we started recording stuff. And we recorded loads of funny things. Since I was a kid, I've always wanted to do a dance version of Fireman Sam. That was what I always wanted to do. So eventually
I thought you had no aspirations. What is this?
That was the only one I had. Think of that.
I'm thinking about it now.
Stop thinking about it, because it's the depression. So we did that, and then we recorded it just for fun.
Okay.
Because I've always thought it's got great chords to be a dance track.
Yeah.
This was 20 years ago I thought this. Eventually we recorded it, and then we started recording other kids' TV teams just for a laugh, and they were just on John's system then. And I would put them on my iPod, and I thought, we need to do something with these. We should do something with them. So I thought, it'd be funny if we did a Pet Shop Boys. We're both big Pet Shop fans. If we did a Pet Shop Boys sort of parody band, but do these. So and I thought Pound Shop Boys is a funny name, because it is, isn't it?
It is funny, yeah. It's brilliant.
And it does the job. It sort of tells you what it is. It's clearly not taken too seriously. So then we started releasing these songs, and we did these great videos, which were Pet Shop Boys-esque videos. They're just me and John being dead still and weird.
You're very serious in them, but you're parodying. Parodying, is that a word?
Yeah.
But you're parodying great songs as well. They were classics, weren't they? Did you get to do Fireman Sam in the end?
Not at the concert, but we did do Fireman Sam. It's on the album.
You have done that. What is on your album? Can you tell us? I know there's a few Keith Harris's on there. And
I'll get the album. I'll read out. I've got a copy here. It starts with Rent a Ghost, then into Fireman Sam, then Charlton and the Wheelies, Come to My Party by Keith and Orville, Wannabe by Spice Girls, Cotton Eye Joe, Grandad, Jamie and the Magic Torch, Puddington Peas, Up Pompeii from the film.
Wow.
Not the TV series, Family Nest, Together We'll Be Okay, and it ends with Rainbow Connection. And track 14 on the CD is Hannah Montana's Best of Both Worlds, which is CD exclusive, not on the digital download.
So you can download this? Can you buy all these?
You can download it. It's called Nostalgia by Pound Shop Boys, and it's on Bandcamp. It's a great album.
And have you had these on the radio yet? Any of these tracks?
A lot of them get played on the radio. Six Music have been playing them quite a lot.
Yeah.
On Mark Radcliffe's show, because Hacker did a light switch on with him at Christmas, and I accidentally gave him an album so he could play it. They often get played on local radio. Stoke play them quite a lot.
Lovely.
Manchester. Our recent version of the Banana Splits Tra-La-La song has just hit over 500,000 views on YouTube.
Amazing. Wow.
So it's doing, it's a little side project that we've put very little effort into. It's bubbling along nicely. We're having merchandise done. We're doing some Pound Shop Boys enamel badges at the minute.
Well, that's going to be on my Christmas list. I love that. And
I'll send you one. I shall send you one.
Oh, bless you. You mentioned Rent a Ghost. Now, how did that go? Was that the theme tune of Rent a Ghost?
The theme tune. If your mansion house needs haunting, just call Rent a Ghost. It's classic.
It's fab. I remember that there's a guy there that reminded me of Kenny Everett. We lost him quite a long time ago, didn't we?
Oh, Timothy Claypole?
Yeah, was that his name? Yeah.
Michael Saniford, yeah, he wrote that theme tune and sang it.
Did he really?
He died a long time ago, yeah.
I remember that, but he was like Kenny Everett, wasn't he? He reminded me of him.
He was only young. Well, he died of a similar illness, would you believe?
That's sad.
He was in the original West End cast of Starlight Express as well.
Oh wow, he's a theatrical. That's fantastic. Phil Fletcher, thank you so much for chatting to me today.
We are going to, that's it, Pound Shop Boys, the next project we're going to do after lockdown, we are going to do I Wish I Could Fly.
That's perfect.
One of our next things, so I shall send you that when it's done. Tell you what was funny, when we did that on your show, when I eventually got the DVD of it, which was ages after, I'd not realised you had that graphic behind us until I watched it back.
Did you like that?
Brilliant. It was brilliant. It looked like an actual concert.
It was,
but we didn't know that was behind us.
Oh, well, I hope you can use that as a promo for top of the Pops. They really looked after us at that venue, at the Viva. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, lovely.
For that night. That's brilliant.
It was nice that Keith and Orville had worked there as well.
Yes, it was. Yeah, they got pictures of him backstage. It was it meant a lot, really, that he'd been there. And
well, they did do it goes like this.
Goes like this, goes like that. Yeah, we done that. And Kitty was in it. She was in the video with Shenton.
She's brilliant. She's brilliant, isn't she?
Yeah, I love Kitty. She's just started a YouTube channel, actually.
I know, I've been watching it. Yeah, it's very good.
Kitty Harris. Yeah, she'll be so proud. Yeah.
Well, I met her at your gig.
In Blackpool, at the Pleasure Beach. Yes, she was supporting me.
I'd met.
And it was only me. It was me, you, and Kitty in that room, even when the show started.
It was good show, Steve. You were very good.
It was good fun, but it was a show that could still have happened over the last 4 months because we could social distance in that room completely. Couldn't we? But Steve Hewlett shows can still go ahead. Oh yes, no problem. The theatre tour's still on.
But I'll have to sit a distance from Arthur Lager.
I've got a couple of questions for Hacker. Would you mind if I heard him barking?
Steve Hewlett, you all right, cocker?
Hello, Hacker. Welcome, sir.
That was a quick change, wasn't it?
That was brilliant. I don't know where Phil went. He's gone to pick up your poo, I think.
Hello.
Yeah.
I've left a little trail of it, little dog eggs all down the garden.
So, Hacker, what is your favourite food? What creates your poo?
My favourite food is meat paste. The beauty of meat paste is it comes out the same as it goes in. Apart from a bit warmer.
Oh dear, I wasn't expecting an answer, but you know.
Nobody was. That's the beauty of me, Steve. I always they call me the postman because I always deliver.
You floored me. Hacker, what is the funniest interview you've had? You've had a lot of outtakes. There's some brilliant outtakes of you, but what is?
I'll tell you what's funny about them, Steve Hewlett. Outtakes, that we're always live. So they're not even outtakes, they're always on the telly then.
That's true.
So they're not outtakes, they're real life happenings in real life. There was one, I was jumping up and down on a trampoline, and I jumped too high and got caught on the camera hood, and it made the presenter laugh, and then the cameraman had to get me down and chuck me on the floor. Get me down, Tony, I was shouting.
I'm only laughing because his name's Tony.
It's a very funny name.
It's a great name, isn't it? What's the funniest interview that you have had with a guest? You've interviewed so many over the years.
I've interviewed loads of big stars, but my favourite ones are when I've interviewed little local people.
Yeah.
Like I'm always a big fan of interviewing anyone off Coronation Street, because I love Coronation Street. So if anybody asks, I always say, oh, I loved interviewing Audrey Roberts. And then they say, well, you've interviewed The Rock and Jim Carrey. I go, yeah, but Audrey Roberts is funny.
Do the cobbles hurt your paws when you...
Yeah, I get my heel caught in them.
You got heels? You wear high heels?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that something you...
I was interviewing the cast of Coronation Street once at the Soap Awards, British Soap Awards last year.
Oh, yeah.
And Audrey Roberts came up to me and goes, oh, I want to talk to you about Pipkins. Because she was in Pipkins and she was in Rent-A-Ghost, which I talked to her about.
She was, wasn't she? Rent-A-Ghost.
Yeah, she was Miss Pop-Off. When she sneezed, she vanished. She popped off. That's the joke.
Oh, I love Miss Pop-Off. It's brilliant.
Great, wasn't she? I like that.
Yeah, Rent-A-Ghost is brilliant. You are the funniest dog on television.
Thank you.
Since Spit the Dog. So Spit the Dog, are you a fan?
Big fan of Spit the Dog, yeah. I never liked that he was always sat on a weird-looking plastic hand. I don't know why you do that. I wouldn't do that if it was me. But each to their own, Steve Hewlett.
This is a bit uncomfortable, isn't it? So,
yeah, like a mannequin's, like a lady's mannequin hand. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. It's a bit like Aunt Sally was, doing a bit on the side.
Aunt Sally. I'm a big fan of Words That Got Me, just right.
Oh, I'm really pleased it's coming back to BBC.
Have you seen it?
My kids, we've seen it about 10 times, and there's a great scene when they're having a tea party in that big house, and Wurzel Gummidge notices that someone has let one go, and that scene we've watched about 100 times. It's
very funny, isn't it? Kenny Crook's great in it. I had reservations about it at first.
Yeah, we did when we saw his face, but you warmed to it. It's brilliant.
I love the original one so much.
You can't beat the original Wurzel. But this is separately. This is like a brand new Wurzel.
It's really good. I got the Blu-ray of it a few weeks ago.
Oh, is it on Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Just the 2 episodes.
Yeah, there's no special features on, so it's a waste of money. But the quality, the pictures, they're good.
Yeah, we'll stick with the BBC catch-up because it's on there at the moment. But
it's free, innit? Yeah, watch it on their cock.
It's coming back.
You can watch it on the BBC iPlayer because I work for the BBC. I am the BBC.
You are the BBC. You're a superstar, and you're a singer as well.
I can sing a song about Sue Barker if you want, to the tune of Grandstand if you want.
Does she return your calls?
Never. I got a Christmas card off her though.
That's nice.
When I say Christmas card, it was a restraining order, but it dropped in my door on Boxing Day.
I did interview you very briefly recently, and you do the greatest faces that make people laugh. But faces,
yeah, I put my face funny.
They're wasted on audio, aren't they? So
I'm wasted on audio.
What's your best noises that you do?
That's one of my best ones. Can you do that one?
No, that's. Have you got a balloon? Did you let a balloon?
No, do it again. Listen.
Is that nasal? Is that through the nose, or is that the back of your throat?
It's from me face. I'll tell you the secret of that noise, Steve. If you want to do it on stage with Pongo,
that's gonna hurt.
Chi-Chi could do it.
Chi-Chi could.
You do it inwards.
Oh, okay, you go inwards.
That's the secret. You can't get as high outwards, but you can get dead high inwards.
Is that inward laughing?
I get a lot of people inward laughing, yes.
Well, they let it out later, the inward.
When they've got home, yeah.
Ice and Steve.
You've got your own channel on Instagram, is that right, Hacker? You do a lot of Instagram?
I think I've got 110,000 losers who follow me. And I'm on YouTube. I've got my own channel on YouTube, /HackerTDog, whatever it's called. I've got my fantastic interviews on there with Jim Carrey and stuff, and all me lovely films. I've just filmed a yoga film teaching people how to do yoga and relaxing. during these tricky times.
Why is it you've got little legs, but you can still get them up there? You just lie on your back
flexible, but I can't do Tuesdays.
It's one of my favourites.
It's good at that, isn't it?
You mentioned Jim Carrey. He's one of my heroes. Who is your hero? Apart from Sue Barker, who's your...
I was a big fan of Jim Carrey. Anyway, so when I met him, it was dead good. But my favourite Jim Carrey film is Man on the Moon, of course, because it's the best one he's ever
Isn't
made.
it great? Andy Kaufman, love that.
I love it. I love Andy Kaufman as well. See?
Yeah.
So when I met him, in fact, I was interviewing him at the premiere for Sonic the Hedgehog, and then I interviewed the bloke who does the voice for Sonic the Hedgehog, who I can't remember the name of now, but
yes.
he's in Parks and Recreation. And I started singing a Tony Clifton song to him.
Yes, and he remembered it, didn't he? You were singing
yeah.
it together, wasn't that? Because me and my wife love Man on the Moon. It's in my top 5 favourite movies of all time.
I agree with you, Steve. It's from 1999. It is the best.
And so when you started to sing the Tony Clifton song, we were in hysterics because we knew.
Tony Clifton type jacket on, didn't I?
Yes, you did. It's a great interview. And that guy, I'm trying to remember who that guy is because he's in something we've been watching recently as well. And
he's in Parks and Recreation. He's in loads of things. Is his name Josh something or other? But he does the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog in that film.
Yes.
Which I've not actually seen, Steve. I've not seen the film, so I don't.
It's a good film. We went to the cinema when we was allowed to go to the cinema, and it was a really good film, actually.
See, a lot of people said it was rubbish, but then I said I enjoyed the Yogi Bear film, and everyone thought that was rubbish. So
it was. Yeah, but Sonic's better than Yogi, I guess.
Well, I thought Yogi was great, so I should love Sonic then. That's how it works.
Yes, it is. Hacker, it's been a delight.
Hey!
Lovely to see you again. Hear you again.
Thanks, Steve. I'll see you next week.
Will you? What's happening?
Yeah, I'll pop down. I'm going to come down and look for your letterbox.
Oh, okay, we'll see you there. I'll make sure I've got the doggy bags ready.
Oh, lovely.
For both ends. Yep.
Yeah, open the nose bag at each end.
Thanks so much, Hacker.
Right, Steve. That was weird, wasn't it?
Thanks, mate. Do you know what? I was waiting. When I asked for Hacker, I was just about to sit here and wait for you to go and get him, and then I realised. I mean, being a ventriloquist, I always use my characters, though. I know Keith didn't always use them in radio. I was waiting for you to go and get Hacker, and obviously you didn't need to.
He's in a different room, and I'm too lazy to go and get him.
But you're a voiceover artist as well, and it's incredible voices.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Yeah, well, when I do Hacker stuff, generally, for the TV shows,
Yeah.
if Hacker's ever singing, the song is pre-recorded, so I just lip sync to it. So when I go to the studio to record the songs, I don't take Hacker because it's a full day of singing.
Of course, yeah.
So
That makes sense.
I never want to need the prop. When I do radio, I'll use him, and that's more for the presenter's sake, not mine.
Yeah, no, that's what I do though. Even when I'm at home, and I've recorded some songs on YouTube and things here recently, and I always use the characters because I don't think I can get the character across for it myself as a vent, and I can't get the voice.
You do the voices when you're doing radio. Do you still vent?
Yes, I've been doing this song "To Me to Peter" with Arthur Lager, and I sung the whole song. I mean, it wasn't on camera. I recorded the whole song as Arthur because I want him to always sound the same, really, I guess, with...
You're doing it with your mouth shut, your lips not moving.
Yeah, I never move my lips.
With your one, actually, you can tell that you're doing it. And that's good, because that's what he sounds like. But when Keith and Orville did radio, he didn't bother doing it, did he?
No, he didn't. He sometimes didn't take Orville to the studios and...
But he wouldn't vent, he would just do it as if he was doing a voiceover.
Oh, wow.
Even when he's rehearsing, there's the Louis Theroux thing of him rehearsing the pantomime.
Yeah.
With Jack Douglas. He doesn't even put the puppet on, but he doesn't even do the venting. He just does the voice.
That's funny that. I thought Keith would, use the practice, and I mean, everyone's different though. Every event is different in puppeteer.
If you listen to any Orville songs,
yes,
or audio recordings of him, you can tell that he's not venting.
Okay.
Because his voice is better and clearer than it would be. Not struggling with the B's or anything on any audio tracks, any audio recordings.
That's where Peter Bruff went. He was right for radio, but that's where he went wrong on television. But he lost the technique, because you can lose the technique. And I think because I've known that about Peter Bruff, I've been worried myself about starting to do podcasts or to do radio without the dummy. I don't want to lose the technique, so I always vent whether I'm being seen or not. I just think, firstly, I think I'm cheating as well.
That does keep it consistent at least. But I know Keith and Orville didn't do that. Keith and Orville. But I still refer to them as two people, because I believe in Orville. Keith Harris didn't do that.
No, he didn't.
Because you can tell just by listening. I did that whole interview with that Viv Millets.
That's brilliant. So got me laugh.
Pictures I'm talking of Wurzel Gummidge, and I'll let you go in a sec. Did you see the pictures of me dressed as Wurzel, just for fun?
Which one? The new one or the older one?
The old one.
Oh, I did see one. I saw one earlier this morning. I just Googled you quickly. But I saw the Wurzel Gummidge.
Was Googled you quickly a Fuji song?
Yeah. Yes, it was. It's one of their finest. Yes.
You would say the Gee side.
Definitely on the Gee side. But the Wurzel was brilliant. I showed Nina once. I saw it last year, and I said, "This is him just as Wurzel." I said, "That's Phil." She couldn't believe it.
Just for my own amusement.
Do you not do like festivals or?
No, never have. No, I've been to a couple of fancy dress parties as him over the years. Once they wouldn't let me in because they thought it was a fire risk.
Hey. So
it's true, it's true.
Is it really?
I spent hours putting the latex nose and everything on, and they wouldn't let me in because they were all the straw.
Oh, you're joking. That is funny.
Smoke inside, and I thought someone's going to chuck a fag end at me. I got in
My brother and my sister, we were all entered into a fancy dress competition in our local club, and it was for kids, and there was an adult one as well. But my brother was Wurzel Gummidge, and my mum put hay and everything. She dressed him as Wurzel. My older sister was Aunt Sally, and I was Incredible Hulk. She'd ripped my pajamas and she painted me completely green, and I came first. I beat Wurzel, sadly. My brother came second. So, and I was first because I was covered in green paint. And my nan actually was there as well. I remember Lillian from London. And she went and she won first prize as an adult, dressed up. And she wasn't dressed up. But
the normal clothes?
Yeah, she won a £5. And she was just in her normal clothes. She was quite embarrassed, but we laughed all day about that.
That's funny.
That's my only Wurzel story. No, it's not my only Wurzel story. Actually, he opened the Basingstoke Carnival, back in 86 or 7. And I was about 7 or 8 years old. And I remember seeing Wurzel Gummidge, John Pertwee, on a big tractor going around and round and waving to us.
I would have loved that.
Yeah, Wurzel waved to me. And it was phenomenal back then, Wurzel Gummidge, wasn't it?
It was the best thing. I'm still obsessed with it.
Yeah, we've shown Lola, our eldest. She loves Wurzel, the original.
So
yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah, she always watched them. Oh, that's fab.
Remastered the Christmas episode last year. Have you seen that one, the Christmas one? Cup of tea and a slice of cake. It was an hour-long special. I think it was only televised once in the early 80s. It's really hard to find. But they remastered it because they found the original negatives, and you can buy that now on DVD and what have you. And it's pristine quality.
Oh, right. I'm going to have to get that. That'd be a lovely gift.
Like it's just been filmed now. Because the old ones are always scratchy and
yeah, they are.
The negatives are knackered.
Really? Christmas special? I don't even know if I've seen that.
A cup of tea and a slice of cake, but if you get the new release of it, it's beautiful quality.
Really?
You've never seen Wurzel Gummidge look that good.
Really?
Because it's never it's never been broadcast in that quality. It's always been scratchy film.
Yeah, it's just so brilliant, isn't it? The new one, though, I thought he looked a bit like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, I didn't like the makeup. I thought the makeup was hideous when I saw the first photo of it a year earlier. I thought, oh, God, it's going to be dreadful. It's horrible.
Yeah, me too.
It's just the things on his chin, the ones that are near his mouth.
He's a parsnip. Is he a parsnip? He looks like a parsnip.
Yeah, I think he's that sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, but he just... his humour is great, isn't it?
It's a really good show.
His writing is brilliant. I can't wait for it to come back.
No, me neither. I hope it comes back soon.
Oh, conclusion.
And I love it. I'll always do bits and bats with you because good fun. As I said, I've been a fan since Pig Attraction. I mean
that. I love that you say that.
I love neon. I always love neon.
Do you know what? No one has ever in any interview in my whole career, 33 years, no one's ever talked about the Pig Attraction. That's why I laugh, and that's why I love that you do. So... yeah, I appreciate that.
I love it. It was a show made for me. They might have well have asked me what I want to see on telly, and that would have been it. It was like I won a competition or something. Make-A-Wish Foundation. You're a good man.
Can you do the voices of all of the famous puppets in your attic?
More or less, yeah, I can do Kermit.
Yeah.
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here. Welcome to the Muppet Show. Yay!
I showed.
Waka waka. Ah.
Wow, fabulous. Thank you, Phil. Thanks, mate.
My pleasure.
Bye, mate.
Bye.
Eyes and Teeth. Thanks to Phil Fletcher and Hacker the Dog there. And if you would like to connect with the world of Phil Fletcher, which is a bright, fun and colourful world, then you will find him on Facebook as Phil Fletcher. And watch his brilliant Inside the Puppet Workshop videos. Connect on Twitter at Phil_Glovettes. That's GLUVETS. Or to connect with Hacker, he is on at HackerTDog. And on Instagram and TikTok, HackerTDog. And subscribe to HackerTDog on YouTube for countless hilarious videos and outtakes. And some are actual outtakes. I don't care what the puppy told you. This week's comedy quote comes from Kermit the Frog.
Here's some simple advice. Always be yourself. Never take yourself too seriously. And beware of advice from experts, pigs, and members of parliament.
Sorry, that's my really bad Kermit the Frog. Here's some simple advice. Always be yourself. Never take yourself too seriously. And beware of advice from experts, pigs, and members of parliament. Thank you, Kermit. Eyes and Teeth is written, produced and hosted by Steve Hewlett. Vocals by Nina, Lola and Larissa Hewlett. Additional vocals by Rich T. Eyes and Teeth music and jingles are produced and performed by Kevin Dean. Tune in next time on Eyes and Teeth when I'll be talking to the one and only legendary Robin Colville of the Grumbleweeds. See you there.